After training my fiancée in school, she got pregnant for another man. But because of the love I have for her, I got married to her to cover her from that shame. Now she wants me and my mother dead. Please listen to my story and advise me on what to do. This is a story from a brother. Please, I want you to listen to his story and advise him on what to do. Because of some reasons, we are not disclosing any identity. It all started August 7th, 2012. I like this girl and I like everything about her and her character. She's a patient type. I love her deeply. One day I called her on phone and asked her, "Where are you?" She said that she went for youth dance and I told her that my spirit did not accept her to be there. She said no problem, I should not worry. Then after 2 weeks, she refused to pick my calls. Then I was a truck driver. When I came back from my trip, her sister called me on phone and asked me if I love her sister. I said yes, that I love her sister with all my heart. This her cousin sister told me that her sister that I love was pregnant for another man. I cried within me, but after that, I told her that there is no problem, that I will still marry her sister. After our traditional marriage rite, which is wine carry, she gave birth to a boy. After that, her character started changing. I called her cousin sister that she grew up with and told her what was going on, and her reply was very rudely. She told me, and this happened early 2013. During Easter 2013, my wife slapped me 3 times in front of this her cousin sister, and I asked her why she slapped me, that my mother has never slapped me. She said, and then her cousin sister said yes, that a man should be under a woman. I told her that it is not possible, that a woman should be the one under a man. This her sister asked me to step down for her to come in and control my family. I said no. This her cousin sister will leave her own husband's house and come to my own house to order her sister on what to do, and she will follow her orders. I kept quiet and kept enduring them. My wife got pregnant the second time and gave birth to a girl. Her mother came for omogo, that is babysitting, and went back after that, and everything went well. Our baby girl was 3 months old when my wife left her at home and went out and stayed till evening. When she came back, I asked her where she went to. She told me that I have no right to ask her whereabouts because I don't tell her my own whereabouts. I called my wife and told her that I will be traveling abroad in 2014. She just told me good luck. I told her that my mother will come and stay with her, that if she needs anything, my mother will give it to her. I told her that if she loved me, that whatever my mother will do to her, she should endure them until I get back. She told me no problem. Then I traveled. After 6 months of staying with my mother, she will leave the baby for my mother and went out and will be coming back by 11 or 12 midnight. If my mother asks her where she went to, she will start scolding and making quarrel with my mother. My mother will always keep quiet. If my mother give her money to go and buy food stuff, she will go and buy yam and red oil for my children to be eating. My mother told her that she should be adding vegetable in her children's food, that it will go a long way to help the children, but she will ignore that instruction. If my mother give her money to go and buy things for the house, she will take it to her sister and they will use it for business. It got to the extent that she started abusing my mother. She told my mother to die, that all her age mates are dead, that she is alive destroying her children. A neighbor living close to them told me everything that was happening. She made a video call and I saw everything myself. When I called my wife on phone, she told me that I'm very stupid. She asked me if I am married to her or to my mother. I told her that I love her and I love my mother too, and I cannot throw away my mother because I am married to her, that I love my mother more than any other person on this earth, that anybody that wants to hurt my mother should come and hurt me. She said over her dead body that my mother should go and die. My mother she was wishing dead was the person that will go and pay our children's school fees annually before I will send money for them to pay the school fees. This is the same mother that will give her money to go and buy things. She will spend the whole day outside only to return and tell her that she lost the money. The whole thing became worse. My sister took my mother away from the house. My sister was not happy with me because of the kind of wife I married. There was no kind of insult my wife did not give to my mother. At a point, I blocked her on phone for 2 years. But after some time, my mother advised me not to continue like that. I called my wife on phone one day and asked how she is and how my kids are. She asked me if I am the owner of the kids that I don't ask after. By now, she has taken the kids to the village and came back to the city flirting. I called that her cousin sister on phone in December 2019 and she asked me if I want to use her sister for money ritual in 2020. She said that she heard that boys from Malaysia use people for ritual. I told my wife what her sister said, but she said nothing. I told my wife to go and ask my mother for forgiveness for telling her to go and die, that her age mates are all dead. And she said God forbid, and over her dead body that I will also die in Malaysia. I told her that I have no evil intention towards her, and that was why I married her regardless of her pregnancy for another man out of wedlock, and I did that to remove shame from her face. There was no manner of insult I did not receive from her through the phone, but I endured them. I told her that if this is how she wants to pay me back for all I've done for her, no problem. The young man that got her pregnant came to apologize to me, saying that he did not know that I was her boyfriend who saw her through the school. He told me that her cousin sister took 500,000 naira from him because of the pregnancy. I told him that I was not aware of that he should go and collect his money back. I accepted the young man's apology and married my wife in order to remove that shame from her. Till today, nobody is aware of that pregnancy except me, my wife, and her sisters and the young man. My mother is not even aware of that. My sister is not even aware of that. During October 2020, I called my wife on phone and sent one of my brothers to go and give her 200,000 to buy foodstuff for my children. My brother met her cousin sister who told him that she has not seen my wife for 3 months. I called my wife to know where she was. She said that she was now staying at Army Barrack. I said okay, that my brother will be coming to meet her, and she said no problem. When my brother got to the Army Barrack, we called her on phone, but she refused to answer her calls. After some time, her stepsister picked the call and said that she is not in Army Barrack, that she is in Lagos. I asked her who did she tell before going to Lagos. She said nobody. The sister in Lagos pleaded with me to forgive her, and I did. That moment we started talking on phone. Everything was going well. We started talking on phone as if God took control. I told her to leave Lagos and go back to Onitsha to get a 3-bedroom flat, that my mother will take 1 room and she will stay in 2 rooms with my children. She said over her dead body that I should go and rent a flat for my mother differently and her own differently. I told her that it is not possible, and she said that if I can't do it that way, I should forget about it. I asked her if I would throw my mother away, and she said that that was not her business, that I am married to her and not my mother. I told her, point of correction, that as an African that she is married to my mother, and as her husband, wherever I say that she should stand, she will stand there. When all these things was going on during December, she was still in Lagos. I didn't know that she planned with a young man to return back to Lagos in January after her December travel, so that they can live together. I didn't know about that. It was somebody that told me. In 2nd of February 2020, she sent me a message on Facebook that she doesn't have airtime, which I sent airtime to her. She called me and told me that she will be going back to Lagos that February. I asked her where in Lagos. She said that she didn't know. I called her sister in Lagos, who told me she was not coming to her place. I explained to her stepsister in Lagos what my wife said. She said yes, that the young man calling my wife on phone was her own ex-fiancé. Her stepsister said that due to the man's insincerity, she broke up with him, but she did not know that the man switched to my wife. I called the man on phone, but he scolded and insulted me, but I ignored him. I called my wife on phone and she said that I would die in abroad. I told her that this is the 3rd time she is telling me this. Even the boyfriend told me the same thing. When I called him again, he said that I will die in abroad, despite the fact that I did nothing to him. Why I am giving you this information is because I want the general public to advise me on what to do. The decision I want to take is to carry my children and separate from that woman I called my wife. Again, let her bring my children back from her village and hand over to me. And if she wants to continue in her lifestyle, let her go ahead. Let the general public tell my wife's cousin sister to stop putting asunder in her sister's family and make amends to avoid the repercussion. I want a divorce and I want my children back. But before that, let the general public advise me on what to do. Please feel free to contact me on WhatsApp if you want to share your story here in House of the Sons Global. Share this video and see you next Friday. Thank you.